Welcome to Gadget First. Today we're having a look at the new Apple iPad 2. It has the same 9.7-inch screen as the original iPad and the same resolution. Has the addition of a front-facing camera and also a rear-facing camera. And Apple is advertising this as thinner, lighter and faster than the original iPad. It's certainly thinner. At only 8.8mm thick. It's less than a centimetre, which means it's just very, very, very thin. It's amazing, really. As I said, there's also a back-facing camera, and it's a different kind of finish. Well, it's a similar finish, but it's less of a bevel now, and it's more flat. You have a speaker grill here, black Apple logo. There's a 30-pin dock connector here for syncing with your computer or connecting an SD card. And one thing I'd like to mention really is the build quality. The build quality on this thing is amazing. There's no creaking or any kind of defects. It's really, really nice. And also, when you click the buttons, there's also, you can feel the button going down and clicking, and you can also hear it, so that you've got that reassurance that you have actually pressed it. It's the same with these buttons as well, the mute button, the volume rocker, and the home button. So that's really impressive. So, when you unlock the device, there's not much really different from the original iPad. You've got the slide to unlock here, time and the date, and the wallpaper. One thing they have added is this little button here, which just adds the latest picture you've taken on as your background, which I don't really see the point in, but you know, okay. And when you unlock the device, you get to the same home screen as the iPad 2, so not much has changed here really. However, one thing that has changed from when the original iPad first came out is the operating system version. This runs iOS 4.3.1, which gives you multitasking. And although the original iPad has this now, it didn't have it when it first came out, so it's a bit different from initial launch. So I can kill apps by tapping and holding, and tapping on the little sign. And I can also control my screen brightness here, my iPod player, and my volume. And here, that stops the orientation from being locked. So now that's locked, it won't turn around no matter what orientation it's in. It will always stay like that. But I'm going to turn that off. And this opens the YouTube client. So, some small differences there. One thing I think deserves a special mention is the keyboard. Although it hasn't changed much from the original iPad, it really is really nice to use. Okay, so as you can see, in portrait mode, the keyboard is a little bit too small, I think, and it could do with more spacing between the keys. And it should be a little bit higher, I think, as well. Although in landscape, it more than makes up for this. As you can see, they're like jumbo-sized keys now, and it's a joy to use. So if I type in this, the quick, there we go. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I did make a small error. I put 2 R's. And it didn't correct it, so but it's still a very nice keyboard to use. And for blind users, the F and the J also have the little indents on them, although it's not quite as useful as you can't exactly feel them. So most of the apps on the iPad 2 that come straight on it, stock, have been optimised for tablets. So pretty much everything you see here has been optimised for tablets. The YouTube client, I'll just go back here, no one's featured. as you can see, it takes a lot more use of the screen real estate on the iPad 2. Another one that does it really well is, which one should I go on? The App Store. I'll just go back onto the home. Yep, here we go. So we have the top apps at the top, which makes sense, like the featured apps. And then we have like what's hot here. And it's basically taking a lot more use of the screen size, which is really nice. And here you can see like suggestions. Here, when you search for something, you can see suggestions, which is another really nice thing. Another app that does it is the calendar. As you can see, I can see every day of the month here, and there's a scroll bar at the bottom which I can go to different months. So there we go. If I want to go to, say, August, I can go to August by just scrolling down here, and I can sync with different calendars. So if I had an exchange calendar, it would show up here. And I can also go on my lists of events, a monthly view, weekly view, and a daily view. And I can add a new event. If I got my month, say I want to add a new event to the 8th, I just tap plus at the bottom, and there we go. I can add an event here, which is all very nice. I'll just remove that now. Delete events. So yeah, it seems a lot more friendly for the tablet. The last app that does this is obviously the settings app, which it saves you from going in and out of different folders, different parts of the settings. Like the bit that I'm on here corresponds with the content here. So if I want to go on my Wi-Fi settings, there we go, and it keeps this separate, which is really nice. Okay, so let's compare the iPad's internet speed to several other devices. We have a Motorola Milestone 2 and an HTC Desire HD. Now they all run different processors. The HTC Desire runs a Snapdragon 1 GHz processor. The Milestone 2 runs a Texas Instruments 1 GHz processor, and the iPad 2 runs an A5 dual-core processor. So in pure tech specs, the iPad 2 has the advantage. So if we open, I'll just unlock these two devices. Right, and we'll open the internet browsers. We're using Dolphin Browser HD on the Desire HD, and the stock Android browser on the Milestone 2, and obviously Safari on the iPad. So then, let's go to the same website. We will be going to gadgetfirst.co.uk. Okay, so I'm going to do the Desire HD and the Milestone. 3, 2, 1. And it looks... What do you reckon went first?
The iPad went first, then the Desire HD.
So, as you can see, the dual core does increase the speed. The iPad won, and about half a second later was the Desire HD, and a second after that was the Milestone. So quite a big difference in processor speeds, which affects the internet speed, as you can see. And I'll remove these two devices now. However, there is a disadvantage in the iPad 2 compared to some other tablets. For example, the Zoom, the Motorola Zoom, has tabbed browsing. It's a lot like using Google Chrome on your desktop. However, to open different windows in Safari, you have to tap up here, then new page, And although it's not much of a hassle, it does take a tiny bit longer, and all that can just add up and make for a less nice experience. And also, as usual with iDevices, there is no flash support. For example, if I go onto it's a popular flash game website, as you can see, nothing happens, it just doesn't work. And if we did that on a desktop, everything would work normally, as long as you have Flash installed. So obviously that doesn't work at the moment, and it's quite unlikely that Apple will be allowing Adobe to make Flash for the iPad. So that's a bit of a disappointment, and it kind of makes web browsing on the iPad a bit of a hindrance, really. So now Apple have added cameras to the iPad too. Let's have a quick look at them. There's 3 camera apps that come pre-installed in the iPad 2: Camera, FaceTime and Photo Booth. The first, simply Camera, allows you to take photos with either the rear-facing camera or the front-facing camera, and so you can take pictures here, or you can flip it over and take video. You can also tap here and it will take you to the gallery. The next app is FaceTime, which allows you to video call iPhone 4s and other iPad 2s, but we don't really know anyone that uses FaceTime at the moment, so we can't really demo it at the moment. The other one is Photo Booth, which is just a little bit of fun, really. It's lots of different effects, such as X-ray, film or camera. I can take a picture here. I'll just take a picture of that, and there we go. Little animation, and there you go. Just a little bit of fun, really. No real use to it, and you can like do different effects, like you can twirl people's faces, enlarge people's faces. Ooh, sexy. And so that's about it with the cameras, although we have to say we are really disappointed with the cameras. The front-facing camera is low quality, but you'd expect that. It's 0.3 megapixels, but you'd expect that for a video calling camera. The rear camera, however, you'd expect something a bit more meaty. However, it's 0.9 megapixels. It's terrible. We'll upload some pictures that we've taken with it at after this video, just to show how terrible it is. But seriously, there's no point taking pictures in the dark because there's no flash whatsoever. Even in good light conditions, it's really grainy, and it's so pixelated as well, and colours are really dull. It's just, there's no point in it, really. We're really disappointed. To be honest, I think having no camera, like the original iPad, would be better than having 2 cameras of terrible quality like on the iPad 2. It is really disappointing. Basically, another thing that Apple is marketing the iPad 2 as is faster than the original iPad. And if we kill all the apps, I'll just kill some. If I load my iPod app, as you can see, it's straight in. It is very fast, although we will be comparing it to the original iPad later this week or possibly next week, so you can see the real difference. But for now, that's about it. So we're really torn on what to give the iPad 2, what score to give it, but in the end we've given it 7.5 out of 10. Just for the fact that what marks it up is the build quality. The screen is really nice and bright. but overall there's not much difference. Apple have added cameras to it, but they really are terrible cameras. There's a dual-core processor, but for the most part, the average consumer won't notice the difference between dual-core and single-core, because Apple doesn't really, there's no apps that really stress it enough at the moment. And the user interface as well. Although it's simple and it works nicely, there is literally nothing else you can do to change it. You can change the wallpaper, and you can move apps around, and that's about it. There's no widgets like on Android. There's nothing to really customize it really, which is a really, like, it's boring really. There's been no real revolution in the user interface over the other Apple products. So 7.5 out of 10 is the score. Thanks for watching.